Hi, Bridget.
Hi, hello, Nanama. How are you? Can you hear me clearly?
Good evening. How are you doing? Good to see you
Yeah,
again.
yeah, same here. I guess you had a great week.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it is 3 p.m. I think we can start. People are already joining, so more will join as we delve deeper into the conversation. Yeah, so hello everyone. You are welcome to this event. This is also going to be another impactful session, and I appreciate your time. I'm sorry. Yes, I appreciate your time. Today we are talking business. We are going to discuss smart hiring decisions for small businesses. Businesses at this foundational stage need the people who are committed to the growth of the business. But it's unfortunate small businesses face competition from larger companies, budget constraints, and also a lack of visibility, which makes it difficult for them to get the right people when they need them. Don't worry, that's why we are here today. And I am Bridget Apia, the host for this event. And my guest is also poised and ready for this event. She's going to share her thoughts, she's going to share her knowledge with us. My guest has been practicing human resource management for over 15 years. You can tell she has a lot to share with us, and she's also going to help us get some strategies for our small businesses. Okay, yeah, so she's in the person of Nana Master Tofia. I know some of you here may be familiar with her, and she has been helpful since we got connected. Hi, Nana. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Bridget. Good to see you. Good to see you
Yeah,
again. Good to see you
yeah.
again. And can you encourage our viewers to, and hello to the viewers, and can you encourage them to, it can be lonely when you are doing video, unlike the
Exactly,
LinkedIn
exactly,
document, you can see everybody. It's lonely when
exactly.
it's video because you can't see them until they make a comment. So
Yeah,
we encourage
yeah,
them
very
to
true.
interact by making comments. Okay.
Yeah,
But good
very
to see
true.
you. And we really
Yeah,
appreciate their presence here.
yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, so just as Nanama said, if you have any comment or any question, you can just put that in the comment section and we will address it for you. Yes, so we've heard a lot about small businesses and attracting the right people. It is difficult for them looking at the competition in the industry or looking at the competition in the system now. They are competing for the same people with larger companies. To begin with, how can a small business determine when it's the right time to hire? I mean, how can the person, the business owner, tell that, okay, this is the right time for me to bring someone in? This is the right time for me to get my first employee.
All right. Thank you very much, Bridget. Interesting question.
Yeah,
You know what? You've already highlighted small businesses face a lot of challenges when it comes to budget constraints. So sometimes we want to do everything by ourselves. But as a small business owner, how you know that it is time that somebody comes into your business to help you is when there is increased workload, like you are burnt out because you are 1,000. You are the one attending to customers that are coming in, following up on your procurement, following up on receipts that are supposed to be delivered to customers, following up on customer complaints. Like you are virtually doing everything and you are everywhere at the same time. And this can lead to burnout. This can lead to burnout. So when you're a small business owner and then you now begin to feel burnt out, you now begin to feel that there's too much workload for me. Then it's telling you that it's time for you to bring someone else into the business. And when you're a small business owner and then you are the one doing everything, sometimes you will be lacking in efficiency. You'll be lacking in efficiency. So customers will begin to complain because sometimes there might be delays because you are the one attending to your whatever your stocks that you are or your inventory that you are checking or the um, checking customer deliveries and doing all that. So you will lack efficiency. So customers will begin to complain. So once customers begin to complain, then you know that you can't do everything. It's time to bring in somebody because the workload has increased. And then sometimes skill gaps. There's something you really want to do to take your business to the next level, but you lack the skills. You don't have it. It's also time, or it's also telling you that it's time for you to invite the person who has the requested knowledge and skills to help you scale. So you have to bring in that person. That is when there is skill gaps, when the workload is too much, and sometimes if you are getting complaints from customers about deliveries here and there, then it means that you can't do anything because you'll be lacking in efficiency. So you have to bring in someone to help you. And then sometimes it's not getting a full-time person. Sometimes people do businesses that are seasonal. So if you run a seasonal business or there is a season where, let's assume Christmas, you run a what we call a grocery store, a huge grocery store, and then you know when it's Christmas there will be a lot of demand. The demand volume will increase. So you can have seasonal people that come in just within that period to help you so that you are not burdened when it comes to paying their salaries. You understand? So these are some of the things that um, um, small businesses can look at to improve their service quality. And if you have a strategic plan that's maybe you want to expand some or something, these are the things that you need to look at as a small business to determine that, oh, this it's time for another person to join the business and help.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. My follow-up question would be aside getting a lot of complaints, the burnout, the workload increasing, a business owner can also say that hiring someone comes at a cost, right? I need to pay the person, there are other legal stuff that I need to also meet. And looking at this cost or the budget that comes with it, my inflow or my revenue will not meet that budget or that cost. So at that point or in such situation, what should the person do? Though yeah, the workload is increasing, but it doesn't match the inflow or the revenue.
Right. So that is why it's important that as a small business owner, you need to you need to forecast.
Okay.
Because yes, we acknowledge that sometimes your inflows might not match you bringing in another person. So you need to forecast, what we call forecasting. So forecasting means that you acknowledge that this business will grow from where it is now. So anytime that you are putting in a small budget and planning ahead, you forecast that someone might come in at a point when the business has seen growth. So you put in that incremental amount and say, okay, when I forecast my business at this point, and then I look at, let me say, I give myself 2 years. This person, I should be able to make enough to bring in an extra person. So don't just sit there for it to happen to you. You have to forecast. You have to
Oh,
focus.
okay.
Don't just sit down and say, oh, now the workload is too much down. I have to bring in somebody. And then you are now thinking about how you're going to pay the person. So you have to be proactive. You have to be proactive and forecast ahead that in 2 years, I should be able to bring in somebody. Whether you bring in the person or not is not the question, but you have planned for the person to come so that you are not, the person's cost doesn't become heavy on you.
Okay, okay, all right. So, business owners need to think ahead. They need to plan. They need to focus that okay, in the next 5 years or in the next 2 years, this is how much I'm going to make, or this is the anticipation that I'm making. Right. Okay. So, if your workload is increasing, you are getting a lot of burnout. If you anticipate that you get a lot of sales, you need to consider all these things before you bring someone in. Okay. Then the next question is what quality should small business owners look for beyond the technical skills? Because the technicalities are very important. The person has to know the nitty gritty and all that. But beyond that, what should the business owner also consider? What qualities, what characteristics should they consider?
Thank you. Small business owners do not have the luxury of bringing in a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you are a small business owner, one of the things you should look out for is leadership. If I am not in the business today, if I have to take some few days off, if I have to travel to do something, is this person in the position to probably inspire the other team members to make sure that work doesn't stall? Okay, work is moving, can inspire, can motivate, can lead. It's very crucial. You don't want the business to come to a halt because you are not around. So leadership is very important. And then someone who is adaptable. Because small, when you run a business in general, a lot of unexpected things can happen. So do you have someone who is very adaptable and can pivot quickly and change the strategies that you put together before something happened so that the business doesn't come to a shutdown? You need someone who is adaptable, someone who can solve problems. The person doesn't bring every little thing to your table. Someone who can, when the person is dealing with a customer, can close every issue from end to end. And then the only time something is being escalated to you, then you know that the person doesn't have the solution. And this is something that you indeed need to step in. So you need a problem solver. And then maybe I would want to add that someone who is a good communicator. Communication is very basic, because if the communication is not good, a lot of things will go wrong. A lot of things will happen, and then people would just conclude that, oh, I thought. We can't work with that. So the community, someone who is very clear in communicating with you and your customers. And then maybe someone who you are running a business, so and then you're a small business owner, you can't hire an accountant, you can't have an HR, you can't have all the full-fledged units
The
that
department.
medium-sized and big organizations have. But at least you want someone who understands some basic bookkeeping, understand what is cash flow and budgeting, financial planning. You understand? When we talk about cash flow, the person understands that the business needs to be very liquid. You don't take all the cash you have now and go and buy stocks. Can you negotiate with the service provider or whoever is selling you the stock to say, can you give me maybe some 30 days pay plan, so that when I buy, I know that the only time I'm paying you is in 30 days? Cash flow, because you can't run a business when your cash flow is not good. You can't run a
Exactly.
business when the business is not liquid. At least someone that has that basic knowledge to be able to be efficient as a small business owner.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that's powerful. Anyways, if you have any question or any contribution, feel free to leave them in the comment section and we will address them. Thank you very much. Then this takes me
Let me
to,
also,
yeah.
something that came to my mind, so let me probably
Okay.
also want to add that.
Sure.
You know
Sure.
that if COVID didn't teach us anything at all, resilience, we all remember how a lot of small businesses suffered because of COVID.
Yeah.
So you would want someone who can easily bounce back when you go into crisis, where the crisis doesn't totally shut down the business. Someone who can easily maneuver and reroute and come back to a place where the business is still alive and moving. So resilience
Exactly.
is very important. And then you need, like we say, the customer is always right. You need the customers to be able to run the business. So someone who is also customer centric is going to go a long way to help you. If you hire someone who is customer centric, it means that the person understands the needs of the customers, and then they should also understand why the customer is always coming back and coming back. So if the person is very customer centric, then you are hiring someone that you know would help your business move forward.
Yeah. I see. No one thought about COVID, but we were there and it just came and people lost their businesses. Some people career shattered. I mean, everything changed. Yeah, so being resilient is very important. Now, this takes me to another question. Sometimes we see job posts or businesses looking for people, then you realize it looks like the company needs one person. The Ghanaians will say they need a person with everything some. The person should be a graphic designer, the person should be a social media manager, the person should be a website developer, combination of different things. So it gets a lot of people talking. Why don't you be specific? Why do you need one person with all these things? Is it even possible? So how should businesses, small businesses manage that in order to avoid a situation where people don't really have specialized knowledge or people are not really focused, so you just bring them to the company or the business and they don't really understand how things work. So how should businesses, small businesses, go about that?
Manage that. Okay. Like we've always been discussing this couple of minutes. Small businesses are cash constrained, so
Yeah,
sometimes it's not entirely their fault. They
yeah,
are cash constrained. But
exactly.
as a small business, if you need all these things in one, sometimes you need to choose what is important to you, because you can't have someone who's a social media manager, is your marketing manager, is your community manager, is your graphic designer, is your marketer, is your sales. It will be too much for one person.
Exactly.
So what I would say is that, because if you don't if you don't take what is important for you, other things will suffer. There will be a given. Okay, so you need to understand what are my priority number one, two, three.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe my priority number one, two, three is I need someone who is a designer. Okay, I need someone who is a fast learner. What that means is that you can train for the rest. So check the ones that are important to you, like your priority number one, two, three. If you can check those ones, and then you take time to train for the rest. And that is the advantage of working for small business. Everything. It makes you learn. It
You need to
has
be
its
really
advantages.
versatile. Yeah.
Exactly. It has its advantages. So as a business owner, if you struggle with these things, you want the person to do a lot of things, but you can also hire different people for these roles. Take what is important to you. What is my priority number one, priority number two, priority number
Okay.
three? Once you can do that, then now you have something to work with. You can go ahead with your hiring and say, okay, if the person is a marketer, the person is can design flyers. Those are my priority number one, two, three. And then I will take time to train for the rest. You have to be patient to train for the rest.
Exactly. Yeah, so it is important to always give yourself the time, always prioritize. Okay, these are the things that are really important to me. For the others, the person can learn them on the job. Yeah, with time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the third question is how can small businesses deal with competition from bigger companies in terms of hiring? I think this is a major challenge for them. Big companies are giving the fat salaries, the benefits, and people are moved by some of these things. But small
Yeah.
businesses are budget constrained and all that. So how do they deal with this competition and still get the right people?
To work with.
Yeah.
This question. Okay, so as a small business, obviously, you cannot compete with the bigger organization when it comes to salaries, compensation, and the other things,
Benefit and all that.
benefits, and all that. But it doesn't mean that small businesses don't have an advantage. What is the advantage for small businesses? They have a strong company culture. And do you know why? Small businesses have a very personalized, is more personalized, like, and they are a very close-knit environment. And then people like that. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah,
They are very close-knit because it's a small business. And then it can help people to form very strong bond. So it's an advantage, because it can be a draw, because Some people also don't want to work for organizations where it's so huge that when I even say I work for this organization, they don't even know me.
They don't even know.
Yeah. And small organizations can also offer flexibility. So it's part of the culture. So it's some of the things that small businesses can use to can sell to candidates. It's a small
Okay.
business. It's a close-knit organization. It is more personal because some people also like these things. It's not everybody that want to work for a small business. Okay, and sometimes you have to also sell your mission to people because sometimes people also want to align with your values. People also want to align with your values. So if you can sell your value to the person to let the person know that this is what we are driving,
Okay.
if it aligns with the person's value, your vision, everything, if it aligns with the person will be willing to join your organization.
Oh,
And
okay.
sometimes learning, like personal growth. Small organizations provide personal growth quicker than bigger organizations. And let me tell you why. The learning and development is very high in smaller organizations than some bigger organizations. The reason I say this is that in smaller organizations, you get to wear multiple hats. You get your hands dirty in a lot of things. Some of the things that might not necessarily
Be related to your path. You need to
exactly
learn that.
may be related to your part will come your way, and then you need to handle it. And it's a way of learning for you. Just because you are the bookkeeper, you are the operations manager, ordering stocks, making sure that the stocks are delivered. You are the accounts person, negotiating to make sure that your supplier gives you a 30-day credit note or something. So you wear multiple hats. So it offers learning and career advancement. Learning means that you will advance in your career quickly. Unlike bigger organizations where everybody is doing a more specialized function, you go to certain organizations and they even have a payroll manager because
Yeah.
the organization is so big that that can be part of someone's job. It is a standalone job. Learning and development, it's a standalone job. You find someone who is just doing basic bookkeeping because the organization is that big. Okay, so these are some of the things that small businesses can leverage. And then I know I have already highlighted that sometimes when it comes to the compensation and benefits, you can't match the big businesses. However, you can be creative about what you offer. For instance, you can say that when you're a new hire, maybe you have the labor laws allow for a minimum of 15 days when it comes to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can say that, okay, you're going to offer, let me say, 18 days or 20 days. And then every year that you serve me up to maybe the next 3 years, I'm going to offer you an extra day. You just have to be creative about it. Is there can you offer stock options? Like something when you work for me for 2, 3 years. Maybe I'll give you a stock option of a certain amount. You just have to be creative about it. And when people are vested, they work differently. When people are vested, they work differently. So these are some of the things that small business owners can use to draw people in. Your mission, you have to highlight your mission, and then also actively look for people that align with this mission aligns with their values. Okay, it's a close knit environment, and some people like that. It's a close knit environment. It's a small business. It's very personal. That is what also aligns with some people. So actively look for those ones. Don't go and look for someone who wants to work for the big four. No matter how you talk, whatever you say, their mind is already made up. And
Yeah.
then offer the learning and development and career advancements that they would get. Because clearly small businesses offer these things, unlike big businesses. Like
Yeah.
I've highlighted already, small business will make you wear so many hats. And then you learn a lot of things along the way because you are doing a lot of things at the same time.
Exactly.
So it's an advantage
Exactly.
to a small business owner.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very true. I mean, I I have experienced that before. I had a chance to work with small business, and you can sense the closeness in the team. You get to know everyone. If someone doesn't come to work, you can easily notice or identify that the relationship is very tight because we are small, right? It's not like large companies where you will not even see someone throughout the days or the years that you spend in a
Yes,
company.
exactly. The
Yeah, yeah.
CEO
So
doesn't
it's
even
very
know you.
true. Very true. Yes.
Yeah. And some
Then the
people
other
like that
thing,
kind of thing.
come
So I'm
again.
saying that, and then some people also value that closeness, the fact
Yes,
that it's
yes,
very
yes,
personal. Exactly.
yes, yes. So it depends on the person's value. I mean, it's not always bad, right? If you think it aligns with your values and what you
Values.
want, why not? It's cool. Yes. So and the other thing is that in terms of visibility, what are your thoughts on that? Small businesses leveraging visibility. I mean, using the social media or the digital tools to also help them manage the competition from the bigger companies.
Yeah, you are right. And this thing boils down to these things come with cost. So the person has to decide that it's important to me. I want to leverage social media to be able to create a stronger brand or a stronger employer brand. If it's that, because every business has what is important to them.
Exactly.
So it means that if you're an employer and then you want to use social media to build your brand, then it means that you have to say that it's important to you. You have to decide that it's important to you for you to be able to use the social media platform to build your brand. Yes, building your social media brand awareness can also be a draw for some employees. For instance, if I'm an employee of a small business, you see, and then the employer records a testimonial from me as an employee about the many things that I enjoy from the business, how the business has helped me grow, how why I think it's a good employer to work for. Other prospective candidates will be interested in that employer, so they can leverage that by recording testimonials from employees, telling their story, and then putting on their social media platforms how they started, where they've come to, and how they've given internal people the opportunities to grow. And then it's just not telling the story. Sometimes you have to record videos of your employees, like a testimonial, and put it on your platform. And these are things that will also draw people in. Oh, this employer it's a small business, but I think it's an employer that you'll be happy working for and all that. So yes, they can use their social media platforms to build a strong employer brand.
Okay. Okay. Right. That's perfectly fine. So if that's the case, what are some cost effective ways to find and assess people like the candidates that we need? Because hiring comes at a cost, and
It
that's a pushback for many small businesses. So are there any cost effective ways that we can leverage to still get the right people?
Yes, sometimes you can institute a referral system if you have existing employees, because your existing employees will not go and bring you people that they know will come and disgrace them.
Exactly.
Because
No
you
one
don't want to
wants
be
that.
employing someone that's that as for this person is a thief. And then when this person comes, this person is coming to steal from the employer. Because once you are recommending someone or referring someone, it also will tell on you. It also will tell on you. So you don't want to go and recommend someone that you know would come and steal from the employer. So one of the ways is um, referral from your existing employees. Okay, referral from your existing employees. You can also put an ad, on LinkedIn, you can put an ad. So if you have a social media presence on LinkedIn, you can put up an ad there. And then I'm sure someone will see and share with someone. It's a cost effective way. You don't have to pay anything unless you are using the paid version. where LinkedIn will suggest to you 10,000 people that have the skills that you are looking for and that you can choose from. If you have budget constraints, these are some of the ways that you can look at. Even leveraging, sometimes you can even do campus recruitment. Like now, I see academic cities coming to do what we call what am I forgetting? Where they are inviting companies to come to their campus, and then
Job
employees will come
fairs
around.
and all that.
It's a job fair.
Job fair.
It's a job fair. You can also leverage job fairs. And then some of the universities even allow organizations to come in into their campus and speak to employees. The universities will be willing to tell the students about your business. That maybe you offer internships, you have a seasonal job, you are looking to recruit someone for let me say a fixed term contract or something. And then sometimes you can even promote your own employees from within. Okay, that is what we call maybe succession planning or something. Maybe you've groomed someone to take over something. You can promote your own employees from within.
Okay.
So job
Okay.
fairs, so you can use. Let me highlight it again. Your own social media platform. So LinkedIn, Facebook, any other social media platform that you have presence on. You can use that to post the job. And then the second thing is you can use your own employee like a referral system, where employees would refer other people that they know would qualify for the job. And then three, job fairs. And then going onto campuses and speaking to the universities to say, oh, we are a small business, but we offer internship, we have openings here and there. They would also tell their student, because now universities or unis want their candidates to come out well baked. So they are actively looking for internships and other seasonal jobs for them so that they can also learn something on the corporate apart from what they are doing in schools. So these are the things that you can even use your own WhatsApp, your own WhatsApp.
I mean, every most of us use WhatsApp. It's one of
Exactly.
the tools that you
Most of us
can
use
use.
WhatsApp, so maybe the person might not immediately be interested. However, they can copy it and share to the next person and say, "Oh, I saw
Exactly.
this job on this person's status. I think you would might be interested. You might be a good fit." And then the person will just forward it to that person to apply. And then your own groups. I know you're an HR person, so if you have an HR group, or maybe per the industry you are in, you have platforms that you are on. You can post it there. Maybe someone in there might not be immediately interested, but they might know someone who might be interested, and then they will forward these to the person without necessarily going to look for these recruitment agencies that you have to part with something before they get you the candidates. So these are very affordable ways for small business owners to recruit and bring new people into the business.
Okay. Okay. Now let's get to the tricky part, which is the legal aspect of it. I
Right.
know because some owners feel that okay, at this point we are still small, so why should we even focus,
Bring
or why should we even consider the legal
bring
aspect? Okay, I need to do this, I need to do blah blah blah. So they take some of these things for granted. But I know some owners or some entrepreneurs who are now in hot waters because they took the legal aspects for granted, right? So it doesn't matter whether you are small, whether you are big. I feel this part is very important, but then it's been ignored. So, what legal aspects should small business owners be aware of before hiring or before bringing someone in, their first employee?
Right. Thank you very much, Bridget. I think it's very important for a small business owner to understand that this is a contract you are signing, and every location have their own labor laws. As a small business owner, you need to understand some of the basic things or the basic regulations regarding labor in the location you work. The first thing that you need to look at as a small business owner is the status of the contract. What kind of contract am I signing with this person? Is the person a contractor or an FTE? Because that will let you understand the kind of contract you have with the person. If the person
Yeah,
is a contractor, the regulations surrounding that kind of engagement is different.
it's
If the person
different.
is an FTE, okay, the kind of regulations surrounding that kind of engagement is also different. So that's the first thing you need to understand. What kind of contract am I signing with this person? Is this person an individual contractor? Because it will let you know the kind of arrangement you have. Is this person an FTE, a full-time employee? It will also let you know the kind of engagement you have with the person. Because mind you, you need to understand that it comes with what we call social security and tax obligations and a whole lot of stuffs. So if you understand that this person is an independent contractor, then you know that I do not have any tax obligation or social security, what we call pensions, obligations towards
Yeah.
this person. But if you fail to understand the status of the contract or the kind of contract or the kind of agreement or arrangement you have with this person, whereas the person is an FTE, but you're not paying the person's taxes, you can be in deep waters. Small business owners also need to understand that a contract has to be in writing. You can't just bring a person You can't just bring the person in and say, "Oh, I'm employing you as an admin assistant," and then you leave it there. The contract has to be in writing. That is what our labor law says. Any contract of engagement has to be in writing. It has to be in writing. And what do you put in that document? What the role is? What specifically the person is coming to do? What are your obligations as an employer-employee, the employer-employee relationship? What are your obligations? What compensation have you agreed to? You don't use word of mouth and just bring the person up. Oh, I've employed you, admin assistant. The person is there. Word of mouth. You said you pay 500. At the end of the month, you pay the person 300. It doesn't work like that. Just because you're a small business owner, that contract should be in writing. It has to state the compensation. It has to state the obligation. That's employer-employee relationship. My obligation as an employee. It has to state it. Your obligation as an employer, it has to state it. Is there any overtime? Am I going to be working overtime? And if I work overtime, what is the compensation going to be like? The working hours, it has to be stated. You are going to work in this location. Your work starts at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It has to be clearly defined in the contract. The social security payment contributions, you have to put that in the contract to say that yes, we are going to pay your social security and this is your contribution, because some employees also feel that when it comes to social security payments, it's just the employer's obligation. It is not true.
Yeah.
You, the employee, also have a contribution you pay towards your social security or your pensions. And then the employer also has their own obligation. And under the circumstance, the employer will pay 13%. And then you, the employee, will also contribute 5.5% of your of your salary or your pay. So that when the employer deducts that amount, you don't come and say, "Hey, but you said you're going to pay me 500. Why has the money why has the money reduced to 400?" You need to understand that you pay your own taxes and then you pay your own social security as a certain percentage. The small business owner also needs to understand there's something we call duty of care. Once you bring the person into your space and you call the person your employee, you owe that employee duty of care. And in other jurisdiction, I'll say health and safety. Because if you do not have a clear understanding of these things, you are likely to have potential liabilities. You just bring the person in, the workplace is not safe, and then the employee gets injured. You would definitely find yourself in hot waters. So that employer needs to understand a safe working environment, duty of care, take care of your employee properly. The place that you are keeping them to work, make sure it's safe. It's very important. And in that same contract, termination is one of the things that bring a lot of problems
A lot of confusion.
when it comes to the employment contract. So you have to be clear in that contract. What are the termination procedures? What are the things that will warrant termination of my employment? It is clear. It's already in the labor law, so you can just lift it and then put it there. And in my circumstance, apart from the labor laws, I also have something that I call the never list. I have something I call the never list. So when you're my employee, apart from the contract I give you, once you step into my premises, it's part of your onboarding. It's one of the things that I give you. It's a whole lot of a tall list that is cut out of our operations based on what
Okay.
we do to say that because we attend to customers. If a customer gives you money, you spend the money, you are out of here. So that one is cut out of our operations. It's called the never list. Never list meaning that these are things that we don't tolerate in this space. And if you do these things, you are likely to find yourself out of this business.
Oh,
Yes. And then labor protection. I say labor protection. Data protection. Data protection is very key. Some of the how are you keeping the data of the employees that's the information or the details, the information that the employee gave to you. How are you keeping that information? It was sometime last year that one of our senior managers went for this data protection company because we wanted to make sure that we are certified a data protection business.
okay.
It was when he came into the meeting and gave us the highlights after the training is when I learned there was something called the right to be forgotten in data protection. And basically, what that seeks to say is that if I'm an employee of Bridgetapia Enterprise and then I'm leaving, I have the right to say that I want the right to be forgotten. So it means that delete every data or information you have about me. You can't keep them any longer. Now I have left.
Mm,
And then you have to. You cannot give my information out to any other person without my authorization. It is all there. And if you don't have this basic knowledge as a small business owner and then you falter, you find yourself in trouble. Particularly if I have said that I want to exercise that right, where I say I want the right to be forgotten. Don't keep any information about me again. Once I've left the business, delete everything you have about me. And then you are still keeping it. And then I hear that you've given it to the next person. Someone else has access to the information. You can be in trouble. So these are the things that small business owners should have knowledge about so that they don't bring unnecessary liability into their small businesses.
yeah. Yeah. Very powerful. So someone sent me a question and she was asking, when it comes to contracts, I owe a fashion design business, right? And the person that I want to employ to assist me, this person is not really educated. So, in terms of English or the language, the official language that the person doesn't understand. So, how do I deal with such person, right? So, should I still go ahead and write a written contract for the person? How would I even help the person to understand so that in case any challenge or any situation pops up, we can all still refer to it and use that one to build consensus.
Right. There is no law written anywhere that contract should be in English. It has to be in a language a person understands. So if it's a word that I understand and can read, you have to put my contract in that language so that I can read and understand and sign and say that, yes, I read the contract and I understand. On the other hand, if you decide to put your contract in English, what
Okay.
that means is that you have to read and explain to the person,
The person.
okay? You have to read and explain to the person. And if possible, there has to be a third party that can attest to the fact that yes, we read and we explain to the person, and then the person understands. In the person, so the explanation is going to be in the person's own dialect. Do you understand? So when
Yeah.
signing this contract, you have to make sure that that third party is signing and saying that, oh yes, the contract was explained in a language they understand. So now it's not just you and the person signing this contract. There is that third person who is confirming that yes, the contract was explained in a language she understand, and then we sign that contract off.
Okay. All right. Now, when it comes to, let's say a business owner doesn't have what it takes, sorry, what it takes to bring someone in full time. So the person want to go for full time, or the person even is operating a seasonal business. So in such case, how should the person's contract be? What rights does the person have? What right does the employer or the business owner has when it comes to, okay, dealing with seasonal workers or dealing with part-time workers? I don't need you full time.
The labor law also makes provision for that. You can have people that are working for you on a week by week basis. Someone who can just come in, well, the ones we call casual workers. So the kind of contract you have with a person is a casual worker, it's a seasonal worker. So once you come in, there's job to be done. I reach out to you. Oh, we have an overflow. Are you available to come? And then that person comes in and you say that okay, this is a contract week on weekend. Every week that you work, this how much I'm going to pay you. The
Okay.
person does the job, you pay the person, and end of story.
So based
So that
on
is
the
why
hours.
yeah, that is why I even said that even as a small business owner, one of the first things you need to understand is the contract status, because that would determine the kind of obligation you have towards the person.
Relationship.
So if the person is not a full-time employee, it's a seasonal worker, the person just comes. You have some loading to do from a truck to your warehouse. So there is an agreed amount you have agreed that at the end of this period or this job that you have to do for 5 hours, 4 hours. This is how much I'm going to pay you. The person finishes and that is it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I see. So then we've talked about a lot of things. What are the biggest hiring mistakes small owners should avoid? The hiring mistake they should avoid, the biggest hiring mistake they should
Mistake
avoid.
they should avoid. You know, when it comes to small businesses, sometimes small businesses, not sometimes, oftentimes, small businesses lack structure. So when it comes to hiring decisions as a small business owner, when you are bringing somebody into your business, clear job description,
Okay.
clear job description. As I'm hiring you, this is what I want you to do. Every morning that you are in the business, you open the office, you sweep, you bring the stock out, and like it has to be very clear, because sometimes some employees also have this notion that because they're small business, they can do anything they like, especially if it's not well structured. And that is where the problem starts. So there has to be a very clear job description. What is it, your expectation of the person? What do you want the person to do as the person is in the business or is on site? What are your expectations of the person? It has to be very clear. And sometimes small business owners can rush hiring decisions. Do you know that? Because, oh, my shop attendant left and I have to get someone in immediately
As soon as
or
possible.
as soon as possible. So they tend to overlook certain things. They tend to overlook a lot of things, and then they just rush bring the person in, and in no time now they have to let the person go. And most small businesses also don't do background checks. You need to do some checks about the person that you are bringing into your business. For you know, the person is a thief. And let me give you let me give you my experience. Sometime last year, I recruited someone into the business office, and the person was in the first month, and I had just sent a reference check on the person because we need to be clear who we are recruiting. So we sent a reference
Okay.
check to the person's past employer. It took a couple of weeks before they responded. But Bridget, would you believe that this person was actually a thief and
Hmm.
would pick anything money, anything money. Think about it. Even if it's a fuel card that they need to, if they know where the pin is, they will go and withdraw from the card. Just say anything. So it has gone on in ways that we're now beginning to connect the dots. So then one morning I had to just call the person and say, this is it. So we're unable to work with you. You have to leave. The person started begging, blah, 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 blah. We said, no. Do you want me to call the security or you leave? Would you believe that when the person left in less than an hour, now I got a call from the former employer. So we've been waiting for an employer that will bring a reference check on this person. We've been looking for him, and he has done similar things and run away from the employer. So that is how he is. Oyevi.
Wow.
So you can imagine if you had not done that reference check, you just assume that, oh, this person came in and yes, I interviewed the person, so everything is fine. You have to do some checks on the person and be sure that you are hiring the right person. And then sometimes because we also overlook or we rush the hiring decisions, we tend to overlook cultural fit. The person wants to work for the big four. The person doesn't want to work for a small business, but the big four hasn't called none of the big four, the organizations in the big four has called the person yet. So the person decides to, well, let me just come and just walk around and wait for that call. The person is not aligned with your vision and your values. But because you need someone immediately, you rush and then you bring the person in. It can cost you. And then you also, if you have existing employees, you have to make sure that you are involving them in the process, particularly the ones that are like senior people in your business, right?
Mm.
The important, or let me say crucial ones, maybe for lack of a better, you have to make sure that you involve them in this hiring decision because depend on where they sit, they see certain things that you don't see.
You don't see.
So you have to make sure that the crucial people in your small business, you involve them in the hiring, take their feedback, let them also speak to the candidate. And maybe they might give you perspectives that you haven't even thought about. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it really makes sense. And Sandra, yeah, Sandra, your comment is appreciated. Thanks, Nana, for the in-depth information being shared today. Yeah, we are glad. Thanks for joining too. And we know
Yeah.
that you also share this with your network. Yeah, so I had a question. I think someone is asking a question about what you just talked about. Small business, they bring someone in and just few months, 3 months, 6 months, the person leaves and they are in a haste to just employ another person. What measures can the person put in place? Because it is worrying and it always interrupt business. It always interrupts operations. So what measures should anyone going through such situation put in place to control or manage that?
I think I have already said that and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
You have to hire someone who aligns with your mission and values. Remember earlier on in the discussion, we said some of the things that small businesses can leverage. Maybe it's their strong culture.
Yeah.
You need to understand, does the person want an environment that is very personal, and this you often find in small businesses? a close knit organization that everyone knows everybody. If this person doesn't like that and you force the person to come just because you need somebody, the person will come in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they are leaving because now they found what they want. Sell your mission to the person. This is what we do as a business. And this is how your job is going to end. Let me also highlight that. Do you know that when you work for a small business, oftentimes the impact of your job is felt quickly.
Yeah, very true. Very
The impact
true.
of your job is felt quickly. So sometimes when you find some of the top performers, they want to work for organizations where their impact is felt and recognized quickly. So in your hiring process, in your interviewing process, you have to actively look out for these things. Don't go and be recruiting for someone who you want the skills but doesn't necessarily align with your mission and values. The person will leave in no time. The person will leave in no time. And then also sometimes it's valuable to ask the candidate if they are looking, they've been looking and they've gone for other interviews and try to understand
Mhm.
the kind of industry where they are searching.
Yeah.
It can also give you a very valuable information as to whether they are
Very
waiting to leave very soon when that other company hasn't called them. They will just take your own, hang around and wait for that call and run away.
Yeah, very
Away.
important.
It's very, very, very important. So as a small business owner, these are the things that you look out for. If you interview, read in between the lines. Oh, this person aligns with our values, is a very personal person and will fit into the culture that we have. Those are the things that you should be actively looking out for.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I just had another one, and the person is asking that she owns a small business, and she has employed someone, right? Aside the small business, she also into 9 to 5, a full-time job. So she leaves everything to the person just to let the person take care of them. But as time went on, she realized that the person was there were like things were odd. The person was misbehaving, she was seeing things differently, and she's having disappointment because she put all her trust in the person and it looks like things are changing. So what can she do?
So first of all, I would say that what we call trust doesn't really exist when you assign somebody a task. I don't know if you've ever heard trust but check, because we are humans. What
Right.
doesn't get checked doesn't get done. We are humans. When you let us know that, oh, you trust us so much that now you can go to sleep and not come and check anything, that is where we begin to have ideas. So you trust the person. You told the person that take 10,000 and go and do this thing. Come and check. That is your, what I'll call your quality assurance, the barriers you are putting in. The person will know that yes, you left it to me, but you definitely come and check. So they will do the right thing. I know sometimes 9 to 5 can be exhausting. So sometimes you get somebody and you think that, oh, this
That's all.
person, that is it. This person will do everything for me. I don't need to go and check. So this is a lesson. Trust but verify. Trust but check. Once the person knows that yes, she has given it to me, I am doing it, but she would come and check, they will do the right thing. And what you don't check doesn't get done. So maybe at a point you trusted the person so much that you are not checking. So that is what you need to do when you get your next hire.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah,
person is
very.
becoming is giving you too much stress, you can end it. Look for your next person, but make sure that for that next person, you are checking what they are doing. Check their homework. Check what they are doing. Check what they are doing. And also set clear expectations so that anytime that you have to have a discussion, the expectations that you've set would be what you are discussing. So your discussion will be in the parameters of the expectations that we set for ourselves,
Exactly.
so that you don't start regretting it here. You don't start regretting when you bring your next hire. Set clear expectations. When I come in, I'm coming to check whatever I asked you to do, because this is what we agreed on. Has it been done? Has it not been done? What were the blockers? What do we need to correct? What help do you need? Why is this thing not done? Maybe there was a blocker. So what was the blocker? What help do you need? And if it's something that you need to remove for the person to get a job done, you remove it so that the person can get a job done. But for small business owners, please check. I can't say that's enough. Trust the people. Let them know that you trust them, but check what they are doing. Check it. Once they know that you come and check, they will do the
They will
right thing.
do it.
They know that,
Yeah.
oh, she would definitely come here and check what I've done. So they will make sure that you don't catch them on hours. They'll do what they have to do, and the job will get done.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
performance manage them in a way.
yeah. I mean, we are humans, right? And it's natural. Everyone wants freedom. And
Sure.
sometimes in business environments, if you give people too much freedom and you don't verify, you don't confirm things, the time that you realize, I mean, everything will be gone, right? So though you know the person, you know that okay, this person's behavior or attitude is good, the person is doing everything that is good, but always confirm, because rules are rules, policies are always policies. Just make sure things are done in the right way and you'll be good to go. So I think we are not getting any question for now. And if we've already spent an hour, so if you have any question, you can just drop that in the comment section and we will drop that. Thank you so much, Nanama. I think we will need to draw the curtains on this webinar. Your final words for any small business watching us or listening to us this evening.
All right. What I want to tell small business owners is that when you're a small business owner, you do virtually everything. So you have to understand the different things that you are responsible for. And I'll use the contract scenario as an example. Don't go and bring in somebody to your business when you don't understand the state of the contract. And sometimes you don't necessarily need to understand everything. You can bounce it off with someone who has the knowledge to say, this is what I want to do. I want to bring someone in. What kind of contract do you think I need to sign with the person? I've drafted something. Can you have a look at it? Or can you help me draft a contract so that you don't find yourself in liabilities? Again, when you are working with people, we've already mentioned, please check what they are doing. Trust them. Let them know that you trust them, but check what they are doing. Don't just say that, oh, I trust this person and this person is going to do everything perfect. Yes, they'll do everything perfect. Check. That is the way you keep them from doing certain things. That's the barrier you put in place. From them taking certain decisions that bring liability to your business. By the time you realize they've stolen 80,000 from your business without you knowing. They've divulged some of your stock somewhere that without you knowing. You have to be involved. Yes, give them that freedom to work, but run some audits, check what they are doing, and set clear expectations. Set clear expectations and don't rush in your hiring decisions. Make sure you are hiring people that align with your vision and your values so that they don't leave you in no time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I have remembered this. I think I worked with a founder. She's into this eye clinic business. So when she got two employees to work with her and she asked me, Bridget, I think these people, after interviewing them and all that, they are just okay. We just need to go ahead with them, blah, blah, blah. We've define their salaries and all that. So I asked her, have you signed any contracts with them? Then she was like, contract? No. Then I told her business is always business. And if you can't really predict that you are going to face this challenge or this problem with the people in the future. So you need to always cover yourself. You need to always insure yourself because you can't always tell when things may go wrong, right? So, contract for me, even if you just have one employee, whether the person is educated, the person is not educated, just make sure there is something binding on the two, something defining your relationship. So, contract is always important, and all the other things that Nanama has shared with us this evening. My key takeaways are always prioritize. So before you bring anyone in, make sure define the things that are really important to you. Okay, so is it marketing that is important to you now? Is it finances or accounting that is important to you now? So prioritize. Know the things that are important to you now. Some of the things when the person comes in, the person can learn on the job, right? And the other thing too is that after prioritizing or knowing the things that are important, make sure you get people aligned with your business, because we all have our interest, we all have our mission, we all have our agenda. So get people who are aligned with the business, and don't just bring anyone in, because your business is at the foundational age or stage. If you bring just anyone in, at the end of it, the person may steal from you, take away everything, and you go back to square one. And no one wants that. Yes, so these are my key takeaways. Make sure you share this with your network as well, because I know, I definitely, or I am sure that there is a small business owner in your network who needs to hear what Nanama has shared with us this evening. Thank you so much. And don't forget to connect with Nanama. She has a lot to share with you. If you need any assistance with career coaching or even HR related issue, you can reach out to her and she will help. And also connect with her on LinkedIn. You can also connect with me here on LinkedIn as well. We are hoping to organize more of this event in the future, and we also keep you updated in case anything comes up. Kindly, in case you also need anything related to the small business HR, you can also book a meeting with me, then we start from there. Thank you so much, Nanama. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, your insight, and the knowledge that you shared with us this evening. Until then, stay safe, enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye, and God bless you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Bridget. It's always
Bye.
interesting to do this with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate your time and knowledge. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.